Hi friends, welcome to the session on what we don't teach in DFT. See, in class we solve the problems in DFT like this. Yes, of course, we give some x of n values and ask students to find x of k and then ask them to draw magnitude response and phase response. This everyone knows, but we don't know why we are doing this, what is the purpose of this. Simply we say the main purpose of DFT is used to analyze discrete time signal, right? So these are all we are telling, analyze discrete time signal. But why should we do? What is the purpose we are getting from this diagram, or what is the use of this x of k? What we learned? What is the meaning of this x of k? Nothing we know. So in this class, let us see all the things in detail and the beauty of the most wonderful technique called DFT. Without DFT, nothing is possible, no mobile phones and all. So this must be dealt properly, I feel. Right? All the system that we are using in present day, everything is digital, though they process discrete time signals. So DFT is an inherent part of every mobile phone or laptop, anything. So we must know how we are going to use it. Without telling that, simply find x of k and substituting in the formula and get the answer and draw the waveform is not at all useful, right? So this everyone knows. If I give x of n, x of k, we can draw and find and draw the magnitude spectrum and we can find x of k value, right? But in this class we will see what is the meaning of this. So what is this x of n? This is the sample value. So this sample should have been taken from some signal, right? That we have to tell. So otherwise the student doesn't know why, what is this and what is this. What is the relationship between these two, right? And we say that DFT is used to give the frequency of the signal. Where is the frequency here? There is no f in this equation, only k. Then what is the frequency of this signal? Can we find the frequency of this signal by using this plot or from this x of k? No, this is not at all possible. Then what is this? Then what is this? Then what is this? What is the meaning of 3? What is the meaning of this x of n? I want to ask you. What is x of n? What is x of k? DFT of x of n. What is that? What does this magnitude spectrum means? This is my question. Right? We answer all the question now. Now I take you to one simple example of this figure. Let us assume that we are having a signal of frequency f is equal to 2 Hz. Fine. If this must be, this is analog signal, 2 Hz, right? So this is analog signal. If this must be converted into digital signal as per Nyquist sampling theorem, I have to take 2 FM. So maximum frequency is 2, so 4 samples per second I need to take. In 1 second I have to take 4 samples, right? Let us go and convert this 2 Hz sine wave into discrete time signal. Fine? Okay. So first we draw 2 Hz signal. How to draw 2 Hz sine wave? 2 Hz means it completes 2 cycles in 1 second. So here you see this is 1 cycle, this is another cycle, this is completed in 1 second. T is equal to 1, right? This is x of t. Let us assume x of t is 2 sine 2 pi 2t. Why? Amplitude is 2 pi f omega t, now 2 pi f. Frequency is 2 I have given and 2 pi. So this is my x of t, right? So how many samples we are going to take? 4 samples. So what is sampling interval? 1 by 4, that is equal to 0.25. So we have to take 4 sample at the interval of 0.25. If you take, what will happen? One sample we take at 0, next sample we take at 0.25, next sample we take at 0.5, then next sample we take at 0.75. All the sample value you see at 0, the sample value is 0, at 0.25 the sample value is 0, 0.5, 0.75, all the sample values will be 0. So what you get is x of n you will get 0, 0, 0. From this you cannot find anything because it is no signal. That's why Nyquist criteria is very, very important. In real time we have to take Fs is greater than 2Fm. Right? So what we are going to do is, instead of equal to 2Fm, the equal to 2Fm is for only theoretical purpose and examination purpose. In real time, if you take, this problem will arise. So let us take greater than 2Fm. So instead of 4 samples, I choose 8 samples. Okay. So let me take Fs equal to 8 samples per second. Now what is sampling interval? T is equal to 1 by Fs, 1 by 8 is equal to 0.125 second. So each sample is separated by 0.125 second. So this is my first sample 0, next sample at 0.125, next sample at 0.25, third sample at 0.375, 0.5, 0.625, 0.75. So totally 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.125. Now what is my x of n? When n is 0, it is 0. When n is equal to 1, it is 2. When n is equal to 2, 0. Let me write it. When n 0, first sample is 0, 2, 0, again minus 2, then 0, again plus 2, then 0, again minus 2. This is my x of n. Okay, this is my x of n. Now you come to our problem. This is what I have given. X of n. X of n is equal to 0 to 0 minus 2, 0 to 0 minus 2. For that, now we find x of k. Now we understand what is x of n means. This is what x of n. This is the way x of n should be known. Simply we give x of n, student doesn't know anything. So if we give x of n like this, if we give analog signal, then it will be really useful. How we are getting this x of n, student will know. After this x of n, then you do all the procedure you know and find x of k and draw the spectrum. But once I know what is x of f and fs, I know where this spectrum will be having peak. Where we are having peak. I know that my f is 2 Hz signal. My fs I have taken is 8 samples per second. 8 samples per second. How many DFT we are going to take? It is 8 point DFT. Now we understand why I have taken 8. Instead of 6 or 7, I have taken 8 because 3, 5, 7, 8. So n is equal to 8. Once I know these and these values, I can say that what will be the nature of the spectrum, where it will be having the peak. How to say? We are having formula for that. That derivation I am not going to do for you, but there is a formula. What is that formula? Is the relationship between the analog frequency f and digital frequency is given by f is equal to kfs by n. So now you forget about your analog frequency. You don't know. Now you know only x of n. So once I know x of n, what is my sampling frequency? I know. What is my sampling frequency? 8. What is my k? Where is the peak occurs? The peak occurs at 2. Okay. So the peak occurs at k is equal to 2. How many point DFT I have taken? 8 point DFT I have taken. Now you tell me what is my analog frequency? 2 Hz. That's what we have taken. This is analog frequency. This is sampling frequency, right? So now we are damn sure our problem is correct. For once I know what is my f and fs, I know where will be my peak, right? So here you see, when I say that this is the peak value. So from this I can understand my signal frequency is 2 Hz. Okay, this is what we have to know. There will be another one that is saying that another one peak at k is equal to 6. That is a reverse negative frequency as per the Fourier transform. We know Fourier transform will produce negative frequency. For that, the problem, the peak occurs at f is equal to fs k minus n divided by n. Now you see I have fs is nothing but 8, right? K, peak at 6, my endpoint DFT, so n is 8. Now you see where will be another peak? Surely the another peak at, okay, what is the another frequency? Minus 2 Hz. That's why for minus 2 Hz, we have a peak at k is equal to 6. Because we know the Fourier transform will always produce negative frequency. That this because of this minus 2k Hz, we have another peak at 6. Right? But we never mind this. We take only positive frequency. This frequency occurs because of the mathematical complex exponential we are using now, e power minus j 2 pi by n into nk in DFT. Due to that, this minus 2k occurs. Okay. So now if the student is taught in this way, I hope he will understand the beauty of DFT. So from this spectrum, he can say what is the frequency of your analog signal. That's what your Fourier transform is useful. It is used to give the frequency of the signal. So from this spectrum, he is saying that okay, I'm having k at 2, peak at 2. So fs is 8, n is 8. So my analog signal frequency f is equal to 2 Hz. You will be happy to find it, and I think the way of teaching will be useful if we teach like this. I hope you understand the things properly. The derivation and all we can see it in some standard author books like Prokis and Oppenheim and Schaeffer and Manson Hayes. From that we can learn all the things. So if you are having any doubt, please ask me in comment section. I will clarify all your doubts. Thank you.